Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the From the Couch podcast. Today, it is July 18th, 2026, and it is episode 16.
Episode
We
16,
got
that's right.
Levi, we got Aiden, and I myself and Peter. Guys, we have a whole new layout right here. We did something fancy. We did something different for
We
our
did.
viewers that are watching us on YouTube.
Indeed.
I know it's looking really good. So anytime you want to see our socials, take a look right here. Please
Yeah,
follow us
bottom
on
left
social
corner.
media. Please follow us there.
Yeah, but if you're listening to us on Spotify, follow us on at From the Couch on Instagram, and then at From the Couch SP on TikTok. That helps us out immensely, and also follow us on YouTube as well. Helps us out. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video and all that stuff. But again, we greatly appreciate you guys spending time out of your day today, gentlemen. We got some stuff we got to cover though, because a lot has happened since the last time we recorded. So let's just jump right into the rapid fire news. Guys, the Renaissance. I have dubbed Jordan Walker from the St. Louis Cardinals, my St. Louis Cardinals, the Renaissance. He wins the home run derby in Philly, right in front of Kyle Schwarber. He defeats Kyle Schwarber in the best home run derby that we've had in almost a decade. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Go ahead and revel in it, Peter, because it's probably the only positive of the Cardinal season this year. Not that the Reds are any better before you start going off on the Reds.
I was about to say, you guys just lost to the Rockies 10-3 today, so you have no room to talk, like, at all.
Well, I didn't ask, did I? So.
Hey,
But yeah,
it's well, and you mentioned I think on our last episode that they changed the format of the home run derby. So with the new change in the format, how significantly does that impact what Jordan Walker did in his performance in that home run derby? If you had to,
I think the nice thing about the change in the format was, and sorry to cut you off, Levi. The nice thing that changed in the format was that Jordan Walker wasn't rushing himself. Kind of like in the previous home run derbies, because of the fact that you're on a timer, like it was like the whole, a lot of people were having to rush themselves, like instead of going at their own pace, like feeling comfortable in their swings, and that's how Jordan Walker won. Like in that last one, he took like 3 consecutive pitches. Like, I don't like that one. I don't want that one. I don't want that. On that 4th pitch, he hit that ball on the home run derby. Won $1 million, which I just found out. Like, I think it was a couple days ago. He got paid more through that home run derby than he's actually going to get paid this for his salary.
Yeah, kind of insane.
Wow.
Which is insane. But again, shout out Jordan Walker. Again, he's probably going to, if there was ever a most improved player of the year award in the MLB, like I think Jordan Walker is in that finalist category for it, because he went from potentially being a trade or being cut at the deadline this year before the season started. He's probably going to get extended going into this offseason. So,
and shout out Netflix for
Walker.
the worst broadcast of 2026 so far this year.
Yeah, that was, again, great call by the crew calling it, but that camera work was woof. It was horrible.
Stick to movies and TV shows, not sports.
True.
That won't stop. You will enjoy your NFL Christmas Day broadcast, Levi, and you will like it.
Well, the Steelers put on a pretty lacking performance on Netflix last year, so
it was the Steelers. That's no surprise. But we'll get more into the NFL stuff later. But boys, even rapid fires, the NBA has announced that it is investigating the Milwaukee Bucks for their recent contract with Gary Trent, who just signed a 4-year, $64 million deal. Is under investigation for possible collusion and an agreement, a contract agreement that was made without the knowledge of the NBA. So, what are your thoughts on that, real fast?
I'm a little bit confused on it because I thought Gary Trent was already with the Bucks. So isn't this just an extension, right? Am I mistaken on that?
It is a contract extension, yes.
So then, what's the deal? Like, I don't really.
Yeah, as when it comes to when it comes to like, contract stuff, it's kind of a little complicated. But all I know is, as far as I'm aware, Peter, I'm sure you have a little more information. It just seems that the amount that he's getting is, to my understanding, is just a little high or something compared to what he should be getting. What's it look like?
It's not necessarily that. It's just more so the fact that NBA is looking into the possibility that when Gary Trent Jr. again, there's a certain window of when a player is up for a contract negotiation,
Right.
for a contract extension or a renewal.
Right.
They're saying the Bucks negotiated that contract with Gary Trent Jr. prior to that window being open, and therefore it is a illegal deal. That's that's what they're alluding to. But again, we don't know because the NBA is still, as I'm recording this, like I think they announced it, like it was like a couple days ago. So we don't really know like what the whole details involved in the investigation.
I think it's a load of crap. Like, I think he should just, like, I would understand if it was a player going from one team to another, or free agent or something like that. This is a contract extension we're talking about. Like, I don't think anybody was looking to pay Gary Trent Jr. outside of the Bucks, realistically. Like, yeah, he's an okay player. I wouldn't call him anything phenomenal, but like, I just think it's stupid. Like, sure, I guess it's illegal by rules, but like the rules, I feel like like it's just a dumb rule in my opinion. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
but I don't know. What do I
it's
know?
just more so the fact that they're trying to stop, like, it's not necessarily tampering, but it's kind of tampering because the fact that, let's just say Gary Trent, was possibly going to get another suitor that was going to pay him not an equal amount, but like possibly put him in a better situation. And the fact that the Bucks are saying, no, we'll give you more money if you just stay with us. But again, we don't know. Moving on, the Kawhi Leonard deal for him being traded to Toronto is currently on hold right now by the NBA for basically the same thing. They're also investigating Kawhi Leonard's contract. Again, there's been a ton of videos, there's been a ton of articles regarding Kawhi Leonard's contract that it's an illegal contract that the Clippers made because they circumvented the cap by giving him more money that's off books. Again, a ton of other people that have looked into that, but again, the NBA is also investigating that as well.
See, I think that makes more sense. Like, that makes
Right.
more sense in my opinion. But
he's obviously has a lot more production than Gary Trent Jr. does. So,
well, not a production. Like, it's like he's going from one team to another, right? Gary Trent Jr. is literally just re-signing with this team. That's it. Like,
right, but it's more so the fact that the NBA is investigating like whether the Clippers gave Kawhi an illegal deal.
Right.
And they're more so saying, hey, because like there's like some stipulation or there's something in that contract that, mind you, Toronto would have to uphold once it gets traded to Toronto. It would put them in a very precarious spot compared to the Clippers of, hey, like they just wipe their hands off clean and then they just move on with their lives.
But again, I think this is different because it's from one team to another, whereas Gary Trent, again, it's literally just like it's all the Bucks right there. Like, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, maybe I just don't quite understand it, but I just think it's a little dumb. But
all right, moving on. Contracts are difficult. Moving on. Caitlin Clark. We're going to talk about the WNBA for the first time on this show. So Caitlin Clark becomes the first ever player in the WNBA's history to record 45 points and 10 assists in a single game. She is the sixth player ever in a professional basketball game across NBA or WNBA to record 45 points, 10 assists. I think it was like 4 steals and 2 blocks in a single game.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Insane.
What an amazing player. She has completely flipped the WNBA on its feet. Like, she's the undoubted star. It's crazy how much hate she gets. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on in the background of Caitlin Clark hate just from other athletes within the league itself. She does not deserve all that hate. she obviously, I get that she's such a big star that's why a lot of people despise her. But man, she is doing spectacular things in WNBA, and in my opinion, gave a lot of people more of a reason to pay attention to it because she's a household name like LeBron James is in the NBA. She's become such a household name that people want to see her succeed. They want to see how well she's performing. It's just incredible. She's the first WNBA player to even put up that amount. I mean, I don't know how long the WNBA's been established for, but I'm gonna guess that that's a really big deal. That
I think
there's
it's
one
about
person's done.
I think it's about 30 years that they've been established. But again, like it's not like Caitlin Clark's the first ever player to score 5. It's just the fact
Sure.
that she's the first ever player to put 45 and 10
hmm
in a single game.
Still a big deal
But yeah,
nonetheless.
Hey, bro had to find a way to mention LeBron though. Just keep that in mind. Bro
Hands
had to
up
find a
moment.
way.
Hands up moment.
I just want to point this out, everyone. Levi is still determining his fan status for the 2026-27 NBA season.
Yeah, it's up
I'm
in
still
the air.
waiting
right
on the.
now.
I'm still waiting on the
Um,
decision. Still waiting on it.
Buddy's gonna
we
spend-
will
There was the event that was
will
like
do-
$2,000 or whatever, right? That LeBron held.
yeah.
hmm
Yeah, Levi definitely would have paid for that if it was nearby.
Oh, that'd have been incredible.
And we will be delivering the decision special with Levi once
Yeah.
with the LeBron news to see
Can't wait
where
for the
he
reaction.
take his fandom to.
We're gonna
That's
do it in
right.
a really
Uh,
special way too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Move on. World Cup. Right now, as we're recording this, France and England just got done with their third play game. And Levi, if you just would pull it up for our YouTube viewers. England won 6-4 and probably the biggest barn of a game that we have seen in World Cup in a very, very long time. As we were watching this before we were recording, what are your general thoughts on this before we deep dive into the Argentina-Spain game?
What an
Yeah.
incredible third place game. A lot of people were probably not going to be watching. It's going to probably most likely be uninteresting. In that first half, England was up 4-0, and we're probably all sitting here imagining, okay, this is how it's going to be. It's England's just going to, no question, win this game, and no one's going to really pay attention going into the second half. And then, as we're like getting stuff set up for this show, during that time frame in the second half, France goes and it's 3-4 at that point. I'm like, where did all these points come from all of a sudden? How did they just put up 3 goals? And now we have ourselves a contest here. And the game just actually became a lot more interesting at that point. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the only game throughout the entire World Cup that had a total of 10 goals scored in a game.
I mean, this year, I believe
least
this
this
is
year.
the highest scoring game since 1984, I believe, was the stat.
That's incredible.
Dang,
That is awesome.
that's
I'm-
crazy.
Like, what an exciting game for a third place match. Totally unexpected, but I'm glad that they delivered on the third place and made it at least somewhat interesting.
Yeah, congratulations to. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Aiden. I
Yep.
was
No.
just
So
gonna-
congratulations to Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane on third place. I know it's not exactly what you want, especially if you're England and you haven't won a World Cup since '66. So it might not be what you want, but it's a sign of things to come. Great young team over there on the English side. Obviously Harry Kane, I don't know if he has another World Cup in him or not, but otherwise got some good young stars coming up. Congrats to Kylian Mbappe from France, passing Lionel Messi's record for most goals in World Cup history. He had an outstanding performance today, 2 goals and an assist. He is one of the best players in the world right now, bar none. He's an incredible player. Unfortunate they couldn't find a way to get it done. But honestly, I don't know if, not that their heart wasn't in it today, but I don't know that third place really means a lot to either of these teams, really, because it's not the World Cup trophy at the end of the day, and that's what everyone's playing for. Otherwise, but it was a phenomenal game. huge props to France's manager getting his boys in the locker room there, and as as what a lot of fellow soccer fans would understand, the whole it's still 0-0. It's just 0-0. Go out there and play like that, and France did just that, and they clawed back into the game. Obviously, couldn't get it done at the end, but huge monumental effort there from France, and absolutely phenomenal game. So I'm excited for the final tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and that'll lead me into my question to you guys. Argentina and Spain are playing tomorrow as we are recording this. Levi and I are planning on live streaming this on YouTube. So hopefully we will get the word out as soon as possible on that. And for you guys, for our listeners that, again, if they're like you guys are so far behind, but what are your guys' thoughts on who do you think is going to win, what they need to do for tomorrow's match, Argentina and Spain, to determine the 24 FIFA World Cup final winner?
I mean, I'll say this real quick. Simple enough. Messi needs to put on the performance of his life, because most likely this is his final World Cup we're ever going to see by Messi. We want a stellar performance, and I just want to see him go out with a bang and put on an incredible resume that he's had in World Cup history, and it needs to end like a storybook ending tomorrow. So Messi, do everything you can to be stellar tomorrow. That's all I can say.
Yeah, obviously polling for Argentina. If you are Argentina, you got to keep Lamine Yamal at bay for Spain. Phenomenal young player coming up with Barcelona. I believe he's 18. He's phenomenal, absolutely incredible player. And if you're Argentina, or if you're Spain, don't let Messi touch the ball. Simple as that. When Messi touches the ball, good things happen. And I mean, just ask England. It was 2-0 in the 85th minute. And then Messi touches the ball, and well, we all know what happened after that. Or 1-0, sorry. Was it 1-0 or 2? It was 1. 2.
It was
2. It was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2. Yeah, but still. Yeah, I also, like Levi said, I do believe this will probably be the final. I know they said this last World Cup, but I do think this will actually be the final World Cup for Messi. I don't think it'll be the end of his career just yet, but he might only have a year or two left before he finally hangs up the boots. And when he does, once it's all said and done, even if he loses tomorrow, he will be the greatest footballer to ever touch the pitch. Doesn't matter, bar none. Doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter what stat you bring up. I mean, it's just incredible. It'll be a very sad day, especially for someone like myself. I mean, the whole reason I started playing soccer is because of Messi. And now I'm 22. So it'll be a very sad day, but hopefully we get an absolute performance out of him. I would love to see him get, a hat trick, or, just even 2 goals, try and take back that record before he's done. And or even 2-3 assists, gets him back up in that golden boot race. Because I know Mbappe is probably taking it over with his performance today. So really, even a goal, 2 assists, anything like that, any combination would do the trick, and probably win the Ballon d'Or. Mainly if they win, and he'll probably get the Super Ballon d'Or as well, which has only been awarded once before. So, yeah, super excited.
Yeah. So the obviously, for, I don't know if this is a real picture or not, but I think it's a real picture. It was the whole thing Messi christening or baptizing Lamine Yamal. Is that a real picture?
Yeah, that's there was a charity thing for UNICEF. I don't remember what I want to say it was in 2006 is what they said, maybe 2008 potentially. Or yeah, it'd been 2008 because he's 18 now. It'd been super, or 2009 maybe, something like that, super early in Messi's career, and Lamine Yamal's family won it, and that picture is what came of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
right
yeah,
here.
that's a real picture.
That's real.
Yep. So
oh my god.
2007.
absolutely insane. Could be. It's incredible how those things happen.
Can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Well, small world.
Aiden, and you talking about Messi. I need you to come down here to Orlando. We need to go see Messi play in Inter Miami while we have the chance. You and me, baby. That'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, if I hear that he's retiring anytime soon, I will be there for his final game. I don't care how much tickets cost. I will be there.
Okay.
Gonna cost an arm and a leg.
Keep you to that. That's right.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the main topic of the video or this episode. We are going to be ranking NFL teams from best to worst or vice versa. I think we're going to do vice versa. If you followed us last episode, same thing as our QB rankings. We're going to go one by one in like short little bursts. Essentially, it'll go Aiden first, followed by myself, then followed by Levi. We'll have a short little discussion, then we'll further go down the list. Guys, I hate to break it to you. This was a list where I had to flip-flop back and forth a lot in terms of how I was doing.
No, I'm right
this.
there with you. I had some struggles putting, especially that middle part
Yes.
might be one of the hardest things I've ever actually had to do.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of rehashing. Like the QB ranking was a little bit easier than teams because we're obviously judging a whole lot on teams compared to QBs. So with that said, too, some of these rankings could probably contradict what I've said about some QBs in the last episode. So,
Oh, but that's the thing. QB doesn't make the whole team.
right,
So
it doesn't.
a good QB helps, but
Mhm.
it's not the end all be all.
But let's
Right,
not be
it's
too
like-
surprised. Let's not be too surprised if this gets controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's be perfectly honest. It's not like for example, we all had JJ McCarthy last. But that's not
Yeah.
because we're not going to put Minnesota last in the NFL because
Right.
they have JJ McCarthy. It's like
Yeah.
it's a detriment. It's going to hurt your rankings. But here's a nice thing too, boys: is the fact that in the future, this will be for our listeners too. We're going to go in the future division by division and give you previews on what we think prediction wise is going to happen prior to the NFL season starting. So it's a little of a sneak preview right there. Obviously, that'll be somewhere in August before the NFL season starts. But yeah, hey everyone, before we get into our NFL ranking, just want to take a few moments from your time. If you're listening to us on Spotify, we appreciate you. Make sure you just share our podcast to other people. But if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click like and subscribe. And it's free. You don't have to pay anything for us. Again, we're doing this for the love of the game. And again, you can follow us along on our live streams, our YouTube shorts, and our full podcast and our short form videos as well. If you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, awesome. If you haven't, again, it's super easy. It's just in that bottom left corner down there. With all that being said, let's get right back into this episode. So, Aiden, how about you kick us off? Give us your power rankings for teams 32 through 26.
Yep. So my 32 through 26 looks like this. Starting from 32 up, obviously. I got the Jets, the Raiders, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Panthers.
Okay.
You're
That
really
is
high
my-
on the Cardinals. I like that.
Interesting. Yeah, not bad.
I
Interesting.
think that they have, especially with Jeremiah Love coming in. I know if you guys remember, for those watching, if you remember in the previous episode, I was not the biggest fan of the Cardinals pick of Jeremiah Love, not because I don't think he's a great player, just because I didn't think it fit the situation. I do think he is going to make their team better. I do think they're going to be better than the Saints. The Dolphins, Browns. I think they're going to be good enough. Trey McBride's a phenomenal player. So that's why I put him up there.
Okay. Yeah, not bad.
All right. Nice. All right. So I'm up.
Yes,
I
sir.
have the Jets. I have the Dolphins. I have the Cardinals. I have the Raiders. I have the Browns, the Titans, and the Saints.
Interesting. Interesting. You have. I'm surprised you have the Saints up so high personally. So I'm
He's big
I
on
just
he's
think-
big on Tyler Shutt.
I am a Shuck truther, okay? He can ball, okay? But I think the Saints are like, I think they're in that bottom tier, but I don't think they're going to be as bad as like the Jets are going to possibly be, or possibly Miami with like them being like a top 3 pick. I think they're going to be like in that 7 to 8 win range, potentially speaking, if things go right for them. I gotta save that for like when we do our division previews like later on
okay.
in a different episode.
Well, okay. For my list, I have the Jets, the Browns, the Saints, Raiders, Vikings, Cardinals, and then the Falcons.
Interesting.
For
I guess
me,
I'd say that, but my thoughts.
for me particularly, it had to. Ian actually kind of emphasized on it a little bit. I know you weren't too fond of Jeremiah Love going to Arizona, but I do think that the Cardinals have there's going to be some success going on, and I think they might have the perfect opportunity here to look a lot better this upcoming season. So I mean, while we're looking at 32 through 26, these aren't the greatest teams, but I could see the Cardinals, they could have some success. I think they had a really good draft overall, and I know we covered that before, but I think there could be some success going on. Raiders, I put up just a little bit higher. Obviously, we don't know what the QB situation is going to look like, whether Mendoza comes in succeeding, or we're just going to stick with Kirk Cousins as our starter throughout the season. But I don't know. There's some potential here, and I know a lot of people probably are high on Mendoza. So I'll give the Raiders a benefit of the doubt that they could do something pretty nice this season.
I'm surprised you have the Vikings this low with how, I mean, their defense is decent, but like, is that QB situation the main reason why you have them so low?
Part of it, and I mean, I looked back at their season last year. They had a pretty decent record. Like it's not like McCarthy was bad, but it's not like they lost a lot of games in that sense. But I still just don't fully trust what they have going on there. They definitely have some work to do, and maybe if McCarthy does a lot better this season, I would have them higher. I know that they have a pretty good defense that helps them out a lot, but I don't know. I just don't see them doing a lot if McCarthy continues to be the quarterback he is, especially after last season.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
That is fair. But I'm also seeing the fact that you guys have the Cardinals very high. I'm surprised, like, because I am worried about the Cardinals.
Again, it's really just a thing of, I do think Jeremiah Love will kind of shift the momentum of that offense. I mean, because they had a solid running game when James Conner was healthy, and that was something that they missed all year this year once he went down. They didn't have any consistent run game, and I think that really hurt their ability to spread the ball out. Obviously, they got Marvin Harrison, they got Trey McBride, they have what's his name? Blanking. Michael. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, is it Wilson?
Yes, I think that's what it is. Michael
Receiver?
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's solid. Like they have a solid offense. I think Jacoby Brissett will be a solid quarterback. I don't think he's anything special, but I think he could be a guy who just gets in there, gets things done. I don't think, as long as he takes care of the ball, that's all you can ask, right? And then you hand the ball off to Jeremiah Love, who's a great running back. It's really gonna come down to their line, and I think their defense is well enough. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible.
Ian just touched on it. I mean, again, I think they have a really solid offensive going on here. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have a lot of success last year, and he's a phenomenal wide receiver. And I'm not just saying that purely off Ohio State bias, but with Jeremiah Love being added to that offense as a running back, key piece I think that they were missing for a little bit. James Conner, I mean, he had some pretty good success over the past few years, but he's getting older, and Jeremiah Love is new young blood to come in there. And I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. So I really do think that the Cardinals offense could be somewhat solid this year. Jacoby Brissett, like you said, not too high on him. I think he's going to be okay. But I think they have enough talent around him that they could they could do something a little bit better than last year. That's for sure.
Peter, I'm
Right.
interested on why you're as high as you are on the Browns, with how rocky they were.
Right. And I think primary number one, I think the defense, the whole Myles Garrett trade situation going on, like that kind of hurts them. But I'm high on that defense. I think that defense has a lot of really good pieces to build off of. It's just going to boil down to the fact that can the offense, offense essentially. Like,
Yeah,
again, a lot of people point out to the QB situation, but I like Noah Fannin. I like Quinshon Judkins. I think that's a good they got there. Offensive line is decent. They're obviously trying to build out the wide receiver room with what they did in this year's draft free agency. So if they just get some decent production from the quarterback play, whether it's Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, or some random fan that they find out in the parking lot outside of Cleveland Stadium, like they can be good. But the problem is that it boils down to one, is your play calling good, which I think this year it's not going to be. And then two, it's like, can you actually see some progress from either Shador or Dylan Gabriel if you're starting to play them over Deshaun Watson?
makes sense. Yeah.
And I mean, well, even when they had that Myles Garrett defense last year, they did still only win 5 games last year. They were 5-12 last year. So that's personally why I just don't feel that high on them.
Well, having a top 5 defense in the NFL is crazy.
Yeah, but top 5 defense and you only win 5 games. So that's why I personally still don't see them going that high. I mean, now you just lost that key piece of their offense. You only won 5 games last year with him. How are they going to look this year without him? I know they're still great defense, but credit is where credit is due for that. But Myles Garrett being off that team just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough for me to put him any higher.
I mean, but I do agree with Peter on, because this is year 2 for likely Shador Sanders, who will likely be the starter. With that 1 year under his belt, he theoretically should take a step forward in his production and his ability behind that offensive line. So I could see it. I could see it.
But also too, it's like when I look at the Jets, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and the Raiders, I would take the Browns over them personally, because I think the Raiders is a little bit of a toss-up, because I think offensively they have a lot more pieces to work with than the Browns. Like they're almost like the exact opposite of the Browns. Like the Browns have a ton of really good defensive pieces. The Raiders have a lot of really good offensive pieces. But when I look at the Jets, dumpster fire. If you're a Jets fan, please find any. Again, it's been a recurring bit on this show where we dunk on the Jets, but that's because they're horrible.
Yeah. I mean, god awful. Do we really need to emphasize again that they didn't record a single interception last year?
Yep.
That's bad.
And then the Dolphins, for me, like they're in a complete rebuild era. Like they got rid of every good player that they had this past offseason to clear cap space, get draft capital, all that stuff. I'm not high on the Cardinals. I think that they're in a rebuild phase right now. Because again, I think they're going to be taking this year to get a good young QB. Again, Raiders, Browns, it's a toss-up. And then obviously I have the Titans and the Saints, because I think that both of them, like young teams, are trying to find an identity, find some culture. But that's how I have it. But Aiden, I'm interested. So you have Panthers who just made the playoffs at 26.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not huge on the Panthers. Obviously, I like Bryce Young. I think he's solid. He had a really good end of the year last year and showed some really good things. So if he can continue taking those steps, they could do well. They love Tedoroya McMillan. He was one of my draft picks last year. Or was it a draft pick, or did I trade for him? I don't know. I know I had him at one point. But I'm not high on their defense. I don't know if I can trust it, and I don't know if I can trust Bryce Young's consistency, right? Again, we saw good things towards the end of the year, but I would love to see that continue, obviously, into this year. I would love to see that consistent play. But so because of that, I just didn't feel comfortable putting them any higher at this point.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Let's move on to the next round, guys.
Yep. So starting from what 25 to 21, correct?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So 25, I have the Falcons. 24, I have the Vikings. 23, I have the Giants. 22, I have the Titans. 21, I have the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans low. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's another, and this goes back to kind of what we've been talking about the past couple of podcasts. And again, I love CJ Stroud. I think he's a great quarterback. I don't trust their run game at all. I think their run game is horrific. And from what I recall, they didn't really make any substantial moves to improve that offensive line or the running back room for that matter. Now, that's not to say Woody Marks can't be a good running back, or is Nick Chubb still even there? I don't know.
I don't believe so, but I can check the
Like
roster.
that's not to say that these guys
He's
couldn't
not.
play well. He's
He is
not?
not.
Okay.
David Montgomery is their starter running back.
Oh, that's a massive improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a massive
but
improvement.
still, you have 32, 31, 32-year-old David Montgomery running behind a terrible offensive line. I like that is how I feel about like James Conner. Like James Conner was getting older behind an also not great offensive line with the Cardinals. I think this is a similar scenario where I just don't know if I can trust the run game. I think and it comes back to our Tank Dell and
Nico Collins.
thank you, Nico Collins going to be healthy. You know, that's going to be, those are big question marks. And so again, I just don't think they're up into that top 20 yet. I think they can be. I like their defense a lot. You know, Will Anderson's a stud. Like they have a solid defense, but I just don't know if I can trust their offense.
I think you're underestimating how good that defense for Houston is. That's just me personally. I think I understand like your offensive concerns a little bit, but overall, I think that it is interesting. I hear your point on that though.
Okay. Well, Peter, why don't you take us through yours?
Yeah. So at 25, I have the Giants. At 24, I have the Falcons. 23, I have the Steelers. 22, I have the Panthers, and then 21, I have the Colts.
Here, you know what? Let me get into my list real quick, and then we'll do a discussion between our two lists. So, 25, I have the Commanders. 24, the Dolphins. 23, the Steelers. 22, the Giants. And 21, the Titans.
So, Levi, you and I are on the same wavelength. If I can speak English, wavelength when it comes to the Steelers. Then,
yeah, let's. Why don't we just talk about the Steelers here? So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy as a Steelers fan to be putting them this high, but when I was compiling my list today, I was just looking at each and every team on this list. I would look at the Steelers and I'd be like, okay, who do I generally think is better than the Steelers? And a lot of guys just did not check the list of being, they're being worse than the Steelers. So I was like, man, they're going to be high up. Personally, we did our business during the season, but like we continue to talk about the Steelers, they're a mediocre team with an offense that crumbles usually in the middle of the season, sometimes at the end of the season, and I should add, in embarrassing fashion at the end of the season. A defense that relatively is typically supposed to be good, but they underperform. We've already talked about TJ Watt getting paid, and the guy, we as Steelers fans are thinking maybe his time could be up and he's not performing what he needs to do. But nonetheless, the Steelers just there's other teams out there that I think are better than the Steelers right now. Please prove me wrong this year. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think And here's my personal opinion on this. I understand that you're not going as harsh on the Steelers, I think, as you need to be, Levi. I think the Steelers this year are going to be truly god awful because I think the way that this team is structured, the fact that they are going to be so heavy on Aaron Rodgers having to carry this team, and that's what makes me worried. He is 42 years old. He's an offensive line that, at its very best, is mid. They're not at all in a situation to where, like, it's just seriously right now. Who's their starting running back for the Steelers? I have no idea. Is it
It's Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle starting? Oh my
No,
god!
it's still
pretty sure.
Jalen Warren. Still Jalen Warren.
You think Jalen Warren's
No,
gonna start
Jalen
over
Warren
Rico?
left.
Did he leave? Are you sure?
I thought Jalen
I'm
Warren
like-
left. I thought he
he-
signed a
I
different deal
can.
with a
I'll
different
look into
team.
it for you.
Depth chart shows Jalen Warren as our starter right now.
He is still with the Steelers.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
But
Dowdle's
here's a
second either
problem.
way.
But here's the problem: the Steelers'
I
run
think Rico
game
Dowdle.
is bad. I don't think that the Steelers' run game is any good right now. I think right now, again, when you're talking about the Steelers, if they need to ever go into a rebuild, kind of like what happened when they drafted Big Ben all the way back in the early 2000s, this is the year to do it. Like, you have Dante Moore, you have Arch Manning, you have Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State University, who's going to be in that top 5 section. And Steelers are just like, we're going to go for his playoff spot. Why? Because once Aaron Rodgers retires, you're going to be off in a worse spot than you were when you began the season. Like,
Or
are
Will
you
Howard
trusting
exists.
Mason Rudolph with the? Okay, let's. Well, Drew Aller exists. Okay, we got Will Howard, Drew Aller, Mason Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and all that stuff. But needless to say, when I look at this team, it's like, cool. Our defense is going to be depending on if TJ Watt can get you 20 plus sacks in a season again, and if Jalen Ramsey somehow returns to his all-pro form and covers almost like all the different spots on the roster in terms of the defensive backs. And I have to break it to you, that's just not going to be the case when it comes to the Steelers this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Go ahead, Aiden.
I won't get into my thoughts on them right now, just because they'll be coming up for me, and so then I know I'll have to defend myself anyways. So I'll hold off for the moment.
I guess despite us talking about the Steelers, I'm a little
Commander's
surprised.
very low.
I put the Commanders very low.
Can we
Well,
talk about that?
I mentioned this when we talked about.
Are you pulling an Ethan Hunt right now and just like you're like downgrading a good team or a team well below like what they actually are?
I mean, I mentioned this before with Jaden Daniels in the QB rankings, but they were really good in his first season. They have yet to prove any other reason why they should be any better than they were in that first season. Could have been a rookie thing. I know he got injured and he still played a bit this last year, but there just wasn't a lot of consistency. I believe it was Marcus Mariota, I believe, was their backup to Jaden Daniels, and they won their games. He did the business they needed to do, but I don't know. I think it could have just been a rookie thing. I'm not that high on the Commanders right now, but I don't know. Maybe they'll have something better this year. I hope they do, but injuries have kind of stained them at the moment for me that I can't put them really that high at the moment. I want to talk about, Peter, your Colts pick. You have them up so high.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've said it before. I am not Jane Daniels. I'm a Daniel Jones denier. I believe in the fact that he is a scam artist. I believe the fact that he is doing what Sam Bradford did a few seasons ago. If you guys remember back in like the 2010s, the fact that he swindled multiple teams of tens of millions of dollars portraying himself as a good quarterback. I think Daniel Jones is due for a massive regression. I think that, again, it's going to be all depending on health guys. But again, I'm not a big believer in Daniel Jones. I have some questions regarding the defense, specifically DeForest Buckner, on whether or not he's back in for the season, when he comes back, how healthy he's going to be. And overall, can Sauce Gardner actually get an interception? Because the Colts did trade a first-round pick for Sauce Gardner, and he just completely disappeared last year. Obviously, he's still a good defensive back, but it leaves a lot to be desired for the Colts.
Okay. Ain't anything to add?
I mean, I guess like I can get it. I get it. You know, I can't necessarily argue. Like
Yeah.
I understand.
You got some favorable guys though. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's your running back. Alec Pierce is okay. Josh Downs is not bad. You got Tyler Warren at tight
They
end.
got Tyler Warren if he doesn't disappear mid season.
Yeah, but
Hey, those first like 6 weeks Tyler were immaculate.
they were, and I hope that
And then
that
and then
goes the same
Colson
way.
Loveland just came in.
Except for the injury. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and I'm forgetting the old quarterback's name. One that has several children came in for
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, Philip Rivers, yeah. You said one that has several children. I'm just like, where is this going?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. But well, okay. Aiden, why don't you take us through your next few teams
Yes.
here?
So we're 20 through 15, correct?
20 through 16, yeah.
20 through 16. Okay, so at 20, I have the Bengals. At 19, I have the Jaguars. At 18, I have the Colts. At 17, I have the Steelers. At 16, I have the Cowboys.
You are definitely favoring the Steelers a little bit more, so I definitely appreciate that. That's
think
great.
I'll quickly touch on it. We can obviously go back to it if necessary. I think nothing's gonna change. We get a new coach. I don't think it's gonna matter. Steeler football is still Steeler football. 10-7's on the line. 9-8's on the line. I don't think anything's gonna change. Peter already said it. We're a team that doesn't want to just roll over and die. So I don't think anything's gonna change.
Yeah. Peter, go ahead.
You're gonna enjoy that mid first round pick, and you're gonna like it.
Exactly.
And I got some stuff I want to ask you about as soon as we get it all done. At 20, I have Minnesota. At 19, I have the Chiefs. At 18, I have the Commanders. 17, I have the Bengals. And then 16, I have the Buccaneers.
Did you just say the Chiefs?
Yep.
Wow.
I am not
Okay.
high on the Chiefs this year
Okay.
at all.
Whoa.
Let me get mine here. 20.
Hey, I understand Patrick Mahomes throws the ball real good.
He throws the ball real good, that's for sure.
I
20.
throw the ball real good.
20, I have the Panthers. 19, Texans. 18, Dallas. 17, the Buccaneers. And 16, the Bengals.
And so you guys aren't very high on the Buccaneers either. Holy crap.
I think the problem with the Bucks is the fact that losing Mike Evans is a big problem for me personally. But I think too it's the fact that the Buccaneers are the definition of first half where that was like first 8 to 9 games are fantastic, but the last 2 seasons they choked in those last 7 games, 8 games of the year.
It actually,
and I can't trust them at all.
It hurt me to see them miss the playoffs last year because I was pretty high on the Buccaneers, and this is a full bias thing, but I just loved how Emeka Egbuka played in his rookie season. It was incredible, and I'm like, man, if they get to the playoffs and they play exactly like this, they could go on a serious playoff run. And things just fell apart in the second half of the season, and that made me disappointed in how the Buccaneers performed. So I mean, yeah, there's not much left you can go off of, but say that they're just kind of a mediocre team as of right now. But if they don't choke in that second half, could be a potential 1 to 2 games in the playoffs. I'm kind of glad we're all in agreement on the Bengals. And obviously put them a lot higher than me and Peter, but I'm still not unhappy with that. But obviously the Bengals, we all know the main problem with the Bengals. That defense.
So let's get the ghosts out of the way there. They don't have a defense.
Mhm.
Well, they
They don't have
traded for
defense.
Dexter Lawrence, and a lot of their free agency money that they did get this year was focused primarily on defense.
Yeah, but
So
like,
it got better. It's better than this year.
okay, but like until we see something, like let's just be so for real, right? Like I don't trust it. I don't trust the defense at all. I don't trust the defense one bit. I'm not rage baiting Oscar if you're watching this. I just don't trust the defense. Like I obviously Joe Burrow is going to play incredible. Jamar Chase is going to be incredible. Dexter Lawrence should be a great player on that defensive line. Is he going to be the game changer that they need? I don't know. We'll see.
I personally really like
Just
where
remember
I,
too, they lost Trey Hendrickson. Remember that.
That's true. That's a big deal for them. But I personally like where I had ranked them on here at 16 because this is kind of like the halfway point. So it really shows like, hey, they are terrible, not that great on defense. I'm sorry, Oscar. They're not great on defense. But you guys have an incredible offense that if Joe Burrow's healthy, you guys are going to put up stellar numbers. Despite all that, your defense is probably going to cost you
Well,
the game, no matter how many points you put
and if
up
the offensive line can protect Joe Burrow
and the
too.
offensive line. But with how many points you guys put up a game, I think Oscar, if you're when you're watching this, I personally think that the halfway point is a very reasonable spot for the Bengals. Terrible on defense, incredible on offense if Joe Burrow is healthy and the offensive line is doing their job. You guys are just kind of in the mediocre range when it comes to your team overall.
For those that don't know, Oscar is a family member of Levi and Aiden.
Huge Bengals fan,
Just-
and we've had some
Massive
we've had
Bengals
some
fan.
fun.
I can't attest to that.
We've had some fun at some games, Steelers Bengals games together. I can tell you that.
This is true.
Yeah, you guys surprised that I had the Chiefs that low? at
Yeah,
19?
Yeah, I'm
Chiefs,
incredibly shocked by that.
I
like,
am really shocked.
Well,
yeah, I'm
I
very
think-
shocked.
I think one like I'm just gonna be honest. Like I'm not high. Like again, like you're gonna trust a Chiefs offense, albeit has Patrick Mahomes, and hey, he was playing actually very good prior to his injury. But you're gonna trust a wide receiver core led by Rashee Rice, who, if he can just stop being an idiot for like 2 months, phenomenal. Like he can actually like, get out on the field and be a great player. But Travis Kelce's having coming up his worst season of his career, rookie year. What happened last year? And like he looked like he was just out of it. He looked very slow. He couldn't get like he was just like as soon as the ball snapped, like he was starting his route running, he looked like he was just like a 39, 40-year-old tight end that was just like escaping any linebackers or any cornerbacks. I think the defense is solid, but again, like when you look at Chris Jones, it's like, is he possibly going to get traded this offseason, this upcoming deadline to a team that needs interior defensive line? Possibly. Again, I think the Chiefs are in a very precarious spot. Isaiah Pacheco is gone. I don't know who their running back is, but their run game is just non-existent, even when Pacheco was. So I'm not high on the Chiefs for those reasons, and I think that they're kind of going through that weird arc where it's like Tom Brady was at, where he won the arc of Super Bowls, and now they had a few down years. Like down years, they're not Super Bowl appearances. But I think the Chiefs in that down era, like just need to regroup, recuperate, get younger. And I think that's the biggest thing they need is they need to get younger instead of like relying upon Travis Kelce, which, hey, congratulations, you're now married to Taylor Swift. So congratulations. And then basically Chris Jones, who's like 32 years old, and he's literally trying to potentially kill somebody on that defense because they're actually no pressure outside.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Peter, you mentioned you said you might have some questions for myself.
Yeah. Why the Jaguars? They won 13 games last year and you have them at 19.
Yeah, so similar scenario here with the Jaguars, kind of with the Texans for me. It's a kind of goes back to defense and then offensive consistency. I just don't know if their offense is going to be super consistent. I mean, they had some really tight games last year that you could argue could have gone either way. You know, look at the Chiefs matchup. Is the obviously the big one. That game could have gone either way. Like they easily could have lost that game, right? And I think they had a decent amount of those last year, if I recall correctly. So again, not that I can't be high on them. I just want to see some more consistency. I do really like the Jaguars. I really like. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan, even though he's from Clemson. But just want to see some more consistency before I get too high on them. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I get that. Makes sense. So, okay. I mean, do you guys have any other questions about this list right now? Or are we ready to go into the next one?
Nope, we're ready to get into the top half of the
Okay.
NFL.
Yes, sir. Is
Lead
this
us off, Aiden.
15 to 11 or 15 to 10?
15 to 11.
15 to 11.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I can't have yeah. Anyways. So all right, 15 I got the 49ers. 14 I have the Buccaneers. 13 I have the Packers. 12 I have the Eagles. And 11 I have the Chiefs.
Okay. Peter, go ahead.
Okay, interesting. 15 I have the Cowboys. 14 I have the Packers. 13 I have Houston. 12 I have the Eagles, and then 11 I have the 49ers.
Okay. 15 I have the Ravens. 14 I have the Jaguars. 13 the Colts. 12 the Lions, and 11 the Bears. Fire away.
I will remember that.
Um,
I will remember that, Levi. Just we'll remember that.
So can we just start by saying you think the AFC North champion this year is going to be the 11th or the
actually-
15th best team in the NFL?
Actually, the Ravens were not the AFC North champs. That was
I'm saying
I'm
this
saying for
year.
this upcoming
this
season.
year.
Yes.
My biggest reason I put the Ravens up so far has to do with coaching. They got a brand new head coach. I believe he was a defensive coordinator for the Vikings, I believe. I'm blanking
No,
on his
Chargers.
name right now. Chargers, thank you.
Chargers.
Chargers, right? Yep.
Jesse
Jesse
Minter?
Minter.
Is that who it is?
Jesse Minter, yeah, Jesse Minter.
Yes.
Yeah, defensive coordinator there for the Chargers. He's a defensive-minded guy, so I don't know what to expect from him on his offensive schemes he's got going on. Obviously, he's going to have his coordinators to help with that, but we're talking about a team that is all ran around the QB and the running back. Obviously, you got your wide receivers and your tight ends, but the reason why this team succeeds so much is because of Lamar Jackson. And we're talking about a guy who's had so much experience with John Harbaugh. Going to a brand new coach is going to probably completely throw him off. We saw how Lamar Jackson performed with John Harbaugh as his coach last year. And we got to be honest, guys, not a lot of people were happy with what John Harbaugh was doing. So who's to say Jesse Minter is going to come in here with that same exact, with a different mindset? He's going to obviously try and find some ways to do it, but I'm just not fully confident in how he's going to set up this scheme for an offense surrounded by Lamar Jackson and all his other assets. The biggest keys for the Ravens this year is how they utilize Lamar Jackson's feet and how often they give Derrick Henry the ball. If Jesse Minter does not figure that out, there's not going to be a whole lot of success for the Ravens this year. I do still think they're going to be a lot better than the Steelers this year. Let's get that in mind. They are probably still going to be the AFC North champs, but there's a lot going for them with a new head coach and potentially new coaching staff. I don't know what they've done, if they've done a clean house, but a lot of different things that are being changed for this organization that it's going to take some time for them to get fully adjusted and acquainted with this new staff and this new scheme they have for themselves. So that's why I put them up so high.
Interesting.
But I when we get into our top 10, I definitely think where you put a certain team. But yeah, I agree with Aiden's list. I think all those teams are very much in that like mid-tier team. I could see the Buccaneers, even though you put them higher than Levi and I did, but they're in that range of like that middle of the pack for everything else.
Yeah, I just like the Buccaneers a lot. They just had a weird year last year. Obviously, losing Mike Evans hurts, but I trust Baker. I like him a lot. I obviously like the receiving core. Otherwise, outside of him, I think injuries really plagued their season last year, and I think that's the big thing to point out. That is the truth. Injuries didn't help him out at all. Wide receiver core, running back room. I mean, even defensively, like it just hurt him a lot. So I think coming back, pretty much a healthy team. I think they should be able to do some good things this year. So
Right.
I won't get too much into it here, but I am a little surprised you guys have the 49ers so high. I have some reasons behind it, but I'm gonna hold off on that for now because I just kind of want to hear what you guys have to say about the 49ers for each of you.
I think the 49ers are in such an interesting position because I think overall, like, if they couldn't win it like in the past like 3 seasons, I don't think they're gonna win it now. That makes sense. Like Christian McCaffrey, yeah, he's had a couple seasons where he's been super healthy, but again, like he's had a history of injuries where it's derailed his whole like career in some way. George Kittle's coming off an Achilles tear. So is Fred Warner. He's coming off an Achilles tear, or I know the massive injury where he missed the majority of the season. But again, it boils down to the whole, like, again, like I think the 49ers are just outside the top 10. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but I just think for where they are at now, and the fact that their core is aging, and the fact that they haven't broken through that glass ceiling yet and won a Super Bowl yet, I'm very like trepidatious and thinking the fact that if the floor does bottom out for them, it's going to get really, really bad. And we're talking about the fact that we could be talking about like a potential 11 plus, like mind you, Seattle's in their division and the Rams are in their division. And I think both those teams are significantly better. Last year, it proved the fact that yes, Seattle and LA were both better than San Francisco. And I think that for the 49ers and for Kyle Shanahan, like I think they're just going to be good enough to be like in the conversation, but not bad enough to where they are going to be out of the conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Peter, I'm happy you hit on that because I was thinking the exact same thing in regards to the Niners, specifically on the terms of who's in their division. That is a recipe for failure, unfortunately. The Rams, and you have to play them twice a year. You have to play Rams twice and the Seahawks twice. And I mean, honestly, the Cardinals could sneak one from the 49ers if their Niners defense isn't healthy, you know? Like, and if their offense isn't healthy. I mean, who's to say their offense is going to be fully healthy? Obviously, George Kittle, like you mentioned, is coming off an injury. McCaffrey was finally healthy this year, thank goodness. But even the wide receiver core, the guy who got shot, what's his name? He's had some injury problems this year. Like, who's to say that they're even going to be fully healthy? You know? So I could even see the Cardinals sneaking. I could see them splitting potentially 1-1. Like, I just think it's going to be really tough. And I'm not big on Brock Purdy. We've talked about this. Like, I think he's a system quarterback. I don't think he's that reliable. But that's just my personal opinion. Again, I'm not high on him, so that's kind of why I put them where I have. I still think they're one of the better teams in the NFL, but again, in a division dominated by the Rams and the Seahawks, that's just a recipe for disaster.
That's crazy that we're talking about the four. They're going to be possibly a double-digit win team, and they're going to be the third best team in their division.
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of wild.
Like that's crazy.
So it kind of goes to show how good of teams they have in that division. And so with that, why don't we get to our top 10 list here? So, and kick us off with your 10 through 5 or 10 through 6. Sorry.
Yep. So at 10, I have the Commanders. At 9, I have the Chargers. At 8, I have the Broncos. At 7, I have the Bears. And at 6, I have the Ravens.
That's okay. Peter.
At 10, I have Detroit. At 9, I have Chicago. At 8, I have the Chargers. 7, I have Baltimore. And then 6, I have Jacksonville.
Okay. Wow. Number 10, I have the Patriots. Number 9, the Chiefs. 8, the Broncos. 7, the Packers. And 6, the Eagles.
Okay. What is going on?
High on the
Eagles.
Eagles.
What's going on?
World?
What
I'm
is
gonna-
going on?
I'm going to start off with the Eagles pick. I know we dislike it, but hey, if that push is working for them, then they're going to win games.
That's the only thing that's working for them.
I know it is.
Everything
That's
is
the
not
problem.
working.
Because with that,
The coach might get fired before week 4.
they're still going to find a way to win games because of that push. So it's like I have to be high.
Okay,
I'm going to be high.
Ignore
on
the Eagles pick. What is going on with the pick? They just were in the Super Bowl.
Here
The
we
Patriots
go.
were in the
The
Super Bowl.
Patriots and the Broncos are both better than the
Okay,
Packers. What are
this
we
part-
talking about?
I made my argument on their QB last week, but I'm going to make the same argument here for the team. They had a soft schedule.
But they
They-
did what they were supposed to do. They
Aiden.
did exactly what they were supposed to do. Any team in the NFL could have an easy schedule and still lose games.
If they would have had a more
I'm
difficult
pretty sure
schedule,
if
they
the
wouldn't have been quite as good.
Levi,
This is an awful
if-
take.
Levi, if the Steelers had that same schedule and the same results as the New England Patriots had last year, would you put them in the exact same
Well,
position
look,
at 10?
I'm going to compare it
That's a
here.
great question.
Let's compare
Like,
to
he-
20.
look, he did not
what was
answer
it?
that immediately.
No,
He
no,
did
no.
Not answer that immediately.
Let's compare it
Plead the fifth
to
right now.
let's compare it to the Steelers. I don't remember what season it was where they went 11-0. You can make the argument. We had such a lightweight schedule.
2021.
It was 2021. Thank you. We went 11-0, and then we just lost in embarrassing fashion to some bad teams. There was some actual bad teams, but we were just god awful.
The Browns.
Yeah, thank
The
you for reminding
Browns.
me of the Browns. But we went 11-0. But so the Patriots, they found ways to win games. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are an incredible team. Yes, they got to
That's not even-
the
hang on,
Super
hang on.
Bowl, but
Hang on.
they
That's not
even
even
the
necessarily a
playoffs teams they
good-
played, even the playoff teams they
added
went up
A.J.
against were not
Brown
that
this past
fantastic.
offseason.
Dude, hang on. That's not even a good argument because in that 2020 season, in our 11-0 season, we beat Philadelphia, we beat Baltimore, we beat Dallas, and we beat Baltimore again. In Jacksonville, you can kind of potentially throw in there 2020 Jacksonville. Obviously, isn't present day Jacksonville, but I digress there.
They're on the downtrend.
Not to mention, we only lost by 11 to Buffalo. Like we were still in that game. Like, I just think that's a crazy take. This isn't me saying that this is like the Steelers were some incredible team in 2020. We obviously got exposed for a reason.
But the main premise here is that it's just the teams that they went up against were just not the greatest, so they found ways to win. And yeah, them going into playoffs and still proving, hey, we can make it all the way to the Super Bowl. But if you look at some of the teams they went up against in the AFC playoffs, I just don't think that I was really high on a lot of those teams that I feel like the Patriots found ways to win and not necessarily could have like they proved themselves to be a superior team, if that really makes any sense. But that's kind of my take on them.
But Levi, this is my argument too. When you look at the Patriots and you look at the Broncos and what added going into this season and what they have going into this season, and you compare it to the Eagles, who right now they're through a lot of dysfunction in terms of the coaching staff, a lot of locker room drama, a lot of again, they just traded AJ for a bunch of cookies and some like toilet paper from Walmart. Not even name brand stuff. We're talking about great value brand stuff.
Yeah, like one
In fact,
fly.
you're saying that those two teams are worse than what Green Bay is coming into with this season, and the fact that Josh Jacobs is probably going to get suspended for a plethora of games. They lost 2 of their starting 5 offensive linemen. Their wide receiving core is still meh at best. They're meh. And Micah Parsons is out till mid-October at the earliest. He's going to be back in mid-October. And Tucker Kraft, we have no timetable on when he's going to be back. And you're saying that Green Bay team, compared to the Patriots that got better, compared to the Broncos, are going to get significantly better with Bo Nix under the second year tenure of Sean Payton. You're saying that those two teams are worse than the Packers.
Well,
And the
now
Eagles.
see now that you clarify the Micah Parsons thing, which I forgot about, that would make me sway. I won't change my list, but I would say I would swap between the Patriots and the Packers then at that point, most likely. But that's a big
you're
difference.
telling me that Micah Parsons alone is enough to drop them 4 spots.
I think so personally.
Or
But
in
you,
this
but
case,
you, but
with
you
the
have to
idea
look
that
at the
we're
whole
in,
team.
take them
Yeah,
up
I get
4
the
spots.
whole team. Like Micah Parsons, he was a game changer for that defense, and
And I
it was
agree.
it was game changer. I think that matters a lot
But
to
better
how a
than the
team
Patriots.
performs.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I look at the Patriots and I think their secondary is a lot better. I think their linebacking core is a lot. I think the only thing that the Packers have that's better than them is their defensive line. And even then, that's like a toss up between the two. But like, tell me, like, with how good, again, I understand we were going to be like, oh, do schedules. The Patriots offensive line, again, Will Campbell blocked that performance about what happened in the Super Bowl away because they went up against the Seahawks and then were juggernaut on defense. Take that away. Their offensive line actually really that whole season. And you're telling me that still like that Micah Parsons is that much of a difference maker, and you're facing like you son of a gun. You put the Bears lower than the freaking. I'm gonna remember this.
Hey, Caleb
you
Williams.
Watch yourself. You better watch yourself.
Caleb Williams, man. Last week, remember what I did with
I would
Caleb
like
Williams?
to say, listen, I like to
You
say
better
I
watch
did
yourself.
you service. I put the Bears at 7. So
Thank you. You had them higher than me because I think the Bears. I'm worried
that's
about
pretty.
their defense a little bit,
That is pretty generous. I will say, going back to the Bears thing, kind of going back to where I had them on my list before. The biggest thing is you
Got them
guys
at 11.
you guys found a way to win a lot of games, especially on the line there in like the last 2 minutes, whatever it was, I believe. So that's kind of why I kind of left them out of my top 10. I still think that the Bears are going to be phenomenal, but if they're only going to win games in those last like 5 minutes, we'll say, it seems like, well, I don't know. The Bears can't do enough.
But they still won the games. They won the games, Levi. Who cares if it was in the last like couple minutes? Who cares? We were down down like 21-24 against the Packers in that wild card game. We came back and won. Was that in the last 2 minutes? No, it wasn't. The fact that the Packers went
hey, listen,
the whole entire time in that second half.
Listen, I know this was a couple years ago, but I'm going to bring it up again. The Steelers, when they went 11-0, everybody was high on them because they were winning their games. When we lost one game, everybody put them out of their top 10.
Ben Roethlisberger in a walking boot, and the whole entire team was
exactly
like Chase Claypool said. Exactly, never heard of her. You had a locker room cancer. The whole entire locker room was like cancerous to the point where it was. But
further emphasis, we found a way to win games we found a lot of ways to win games at the end of those games in that season. When we lost one game, everybody immediately took us out of the top 10 because they said, "Oh, this team was completely fake."
Levi, the Bears
11-0.
started out 2-4 last year, or like not 2-4. They started like 2-3 or something like that last year, and they won like 13 games last year.
I understand that.
Last year.
I understand that. And I'm not calling out the Bears saying that they're a fake team because they're definitely so far different from what that Steelers team was. But all I'm just simply saying is if that's the only way they continue to win, it's not going to be enough to get them to a Super Bowl.
I don't think that's
they got lucky. They got extremely lucky that the Packers just had an ultimate collapse in the second half of that playoff game. If they hadn't have that, it would have been out.
Levi, their whole entire defense were rolled around, hey, Micah Parsons, go get 15 sacks this year, and then we'll be fine. And then Micah Parsons injured, and they're like, well, we don't have a defense anymore. Mm-hmm. Is that's just called poor roster management. That anything else.
I would like to mention the Bears were also overtime away against the Rams from potentially making the Super Bowl. Like, let's just be for real.
Don't get me wrong. That was an incredible. That was an incredible play by Caleb Williams. But that didn't happen.
The Super Bowl would have gotten absolutely destroyed by the Seahawks. I want to clarify that we would have gotten destroyed by the Seahawks.
Listen, man.
I think Caleb Williams was going to go because
I was just giving you benefit of the doubt there. Right? I was just giving you benefit of the doubt there.
No, even myself as a Bears fan, I wear a Bears gear right now. Like, if went up against the Seattle Seahawks in that NFC Championship game last season, it's like a boa constrictor, dude. They're just squeezing the life out of us and like misery. Caleb Williams would have been in a literal like straight jacket, just like going insane, kind of like what happened with Drake May in Super Bowl. I am personally happy that we did not get embarrassed on national television, and the fact that our 2 games were very memorable, and the fact that Caleb Williams is in fact the Bears' Lord and Savior.
Absolutely.
As
I
well
can't
as Ben
agree more
Johnson.
on that.
I want to point this out. Ben Johnson, if you take off your shirt, I'll go tarps off. I'll go I will go tarps off if he goes tarps off in the locker room after we win.
That's wild.
So just clarify
Holy
that.
smokes, I love
I'm a
it.
man of my word. I don't think
love
that
it.
YouTube would approve of that, or Spotify would approve of that, but it's
See,
we'll get there.
I'm interested on, and kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. You guys went or lower than me, I guess, on the Commanders, right? I know that the Commanders didn't have a good year last year. Obviously, a lot of that played to the fact Jaden Daniels wasn't the quarterback because he was injured. So there could be some potential growing pains with him coming back this year. But I don't know. I kind of think they have a favorable back half of the schedule. Their front half is
Agree with
pretty. I think they're pretty front loaded in the schedule this year. But like if they can get through that front, call it front 6 weeks at 3-3, which I don't think is ridiculous. I think that's possible. I could easily see them finishing the year, those final 10 games at best like 7-3. So then you were looking at what, 10-7, 11-6 at that point. Like I could very well see that.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now as well.
It's still very reasonable. Again, and I mean, I know I put them up so high, but I'm still not unhappy with it because I do think that to some extent they're going to prove me wrong this year, and Jaden Daniels is going to show up this season given his injuries he had last season. But like I'm really totally not unhappy with that. I think it could happen, and the Commanders, given their roster they got going on, like. You got Luke McCaffrey, Tarek McLaurin, a running back. It's okay, but Jane Daniels, he's the heart and soul of that team for sure. So I can't be unhappy with him.
It boils down to also, can that offensive line protect Jane Daniels? And
yeah,
I think last year showed the fact that they can't, and that's why Levi is so low on them. Obviously, I think Levi is lower than. I am. I think when I look at the Commander schedule, I think that very definition like 8-9, 9-8, like middle of the pack. If things go their way in terms of like the division, like going into complete chaos, and probably emerge from that as the representative for the NFC East. But I won't hold myself there. I'm surprised you guys are horrifically low on Jacksonville. I am infatuated with Jacksonville.
I love Jacksonville.
Like I said, again, similar idea. Like I said, I like them a lot. I'm scared.
I don't
Levi,
know.
You know the quote I'm talking about from Rocky, and he's talking about how he's scared.
Yeah.
But like that's how I feel about the Jaguars. Like I want to love the Jaguars, but I'm just so scared to love them.
We've seen how Trevor Lawrence has performed.
Games last year.
I know, but I'm just.
They won 13 games last year.
Trevor Lawrence has been in the league for what, 4 years now? 4 years
since 19
going on
or
5.
2020. 19 or 2020.
4 or 5 years. So in that span of time,
2021 draft.
Yeah, 2021 draft. Yeah. So haven't seen like a submersive amount of success here.
Submissive.
We haven't seen a whole lot of success from Trevor Lawrence over those past few seasons. I'm just not sure if this past season was the one fluke season that Trevor Lawrence was going to have. I was very impressed with that. I hope they can keep it up. And I do think that they will. But until I see that it wasn't a fluke, I had to put them, kind of in that middle range of teams overall. So, but yeah, I hope the you having them that high, I hope that proves right.
Here's my concern with the Jags, right? In 2023, they went 9-8, right? 2024, they went 4-13, and then 2025, they went 13-4. Like that's the consistency I'm worried about. Like, are they due to for that fall, the regression, right? That's my concern.
Right, but mind you, they went 13-4 with Travis Hunter like missing a vast majority of that season.
Yeah, but then my other point again goes back to the whole thing with the close games, and Levi kind of hit on with the Bears, but I think the Bears are a different story than the Jags. like you're talking an overtime win against Arizona, an overtime win against the Raiders. The Raiders.
I think they
30 to
just
29
barely.
against
I
the
think they
Raiders.
just barely won against
Hey,
the Chiefs last season
A
too, if I remember.
Yeah.
win, a win is win.
That's
It-
fair.
Could it
Look,
be a
that's
bad
completely
win?
hey,
Yes,
that's
a
completely
win is a
fair.
win.
That's completely fair. I don't
Like,
know.
again,
I'm just
like,
I'm
are there definitely moments where teams have like bad performances and they still win? 100%, absolutely. You
Yeah.
guys can 100% attest to the fact that
That's true.
against the fact that you guys completely BS your way into winning a game on a win because
That's true.
Ben Roethlisberger pulled a Houdini magic out of his freaking magical hat of assortments and like still won a football game despite the fact they played terrible. But then next week when they play against a good team, you're like, oh, we're gonna play well against them. And then next thing you know what happens, to get absolutely clowned by a team better than them.
That's true.
Like, that's fair.
And I will, and I again got I do want to give Jacksonville their flowers. I am harping a lot on like their close games, like even their close losses. I mean, Seattle was 20-12. Like that's a winnable game. So I
Yeah.
have to give them their flowers where flowers are due, right? But again, I'm scared to see a regression hit for them. But again, I want to see him do well. I just wasn't comfortable enough yet to put him up higher. Is really it. Like that's my
That's
big
fair.
thing. I just
Well, then
All right.
let's go ahead. Let's get into our top 5. So Aiden, please take us
So-
through that top 5 for us.
Yeah, so my top 5, and I would do want to talk about this with you guys, but for my 5, I have the Lions. I want to mainly ask kind of Peter what his thoughts are there. We'll get to that after. 5, I have the Lions. 4, I have the Rams. 3, I have the Bills. 2, I have the Patriots, and 1, I have the Seahawks.
Interesting. Okay, we'll wait until we get done with all of our rankings. At 5, I have the Patriots. 4, I have the Bills. 3, I have the Seahawks. 2, I have the Broncos, and then 1, I have the Rams.
Okay. Number 5, I have the Chargers. Number 4, the 49ers. Number 3, the Rams. Number 2, the Seahawks. And number 1, I have the Bills.
Interesting. Okay.
So let me just start off because I told you I was going to hold my tongue for the 49er stuff. I put them so high. Last year, they went 12-5. I know we talked about this being a really good division with them, the Rams, and the Seahawks. We talked about it during last season. The 49ers had a lot of injuries. We called them the, what was it, like just the hospital. They were just a hospital team. The Civil War Hospital, yes. It just continued throughout their season. They were plagued with it all season. Through it all, they still managed to go 12-5 with I'm still not high on Brock Purdy, but we still are talking about a Christian McCaffrey. They have Mike Evans now, Ricky Pearsall, Christian Kirk, and then they still have George Kittle, of course. George Kittle's getting a little old, but nonetheless, through all their injuries that they had, they still managed to go 12-5, and they did make the playoffs at that point. I don't remember who they faced, but I think they had a pretty early exit in the playoffs last year. But still, you have an incredible offense that's obviously rounded around Christian McCaffrey. I know he's getting old, but those injuries that they dealt with, they battled hard through it. So I think a lot of that comes from Christian McCaffrey and how incredible of a running back he is. They managed to win it all these games through their injuries, and still leaves me
they
impressed.
lost to Seattle 41-6 in a divisional game.
So in embarrassing fashion, but that doesn't negate how they play throughout the regular season.
Their rushing leader in that game was Brock Purdy with 37 rushing yards.
Yeah, and despite how they did in playoffs, still negates how they played in the regular season. I know that probably contradicts a few things I've said earlier, but still, nonetheless, 49ers, they found ways to win. They managed to win with the injuries.
It's a valid point. I can't really necessarily
It is a
argue
valid
against that.
point. All right, but Aiden, you want me to talk about your Lions?
Yeah. So I'm curious on why you kind of are so low on the Lions this year.
For me, like I'm not necessarily low. I think the Bears and the Lions were a toss-up for me this year. I think I gave the Bears the benefit of the doubt because I think that there's more returning pieces in terms of coaching staff, player retention, all that stuff than the Lions do. I feel like the Lions. I think like last year was just the whole like they had to figure things out, and I thought that there was definitely points, especially towards the end of last year, they did figure things out because those like first like primarily I think those first like 9 games was like pretty rocky in terms of the fact that like one they were injury riddled, their defense did not play well, their offense was pretty mediocre, and then towards the end of last year, they that one to form and actually started making them pushing themselves to a playoff spot. I think again, like the Lions, if they win the division, I would not be surprised. Because overall, I think they're a really good team. I think the offensive line is just going to get better as the time goes on. Obviously, losing to Montgomery stinks, but if they just improve that wide receiving core a little bit, get healthy on the defensive side, would I be shocked if they win the division? No, I wouldn't. I think that was actually it's a fair pick. I'm not going to argue as much as the pick have been in the past.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys are not high on the Broncos as much as I am.
Again, I like the Broncos a lot. I just am kind of again. I think the Bears are better. Truthfully, I do. I think the Bears have a better squad overall. I think the Bears are on the up, and I think they're going to keep trending up. I think that's the big one right there. I mean, obviously, I think the Ravens are better. Like they have an incredible roster. Both teams have good rosters, I should say. Not that both teams they don't have good rosters. Those are like the big ones I think that you could argue there. I mean, the Rams, Bills, Patriots, and Seahawks I think are all self-explanatory. Again, then you could argue with the Lions, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just higher on the Lions, so.
I'm still not, and I'm not unhappy with like any of the number 1 spots too, because I feel like all 3 of those teams generally have valid reasons to be in the number 1 slot. Bills, personally for me with the Bills, I do think they are one of the most complete teams. It's just unfortunate the collapse that they had in the playoffs last year. If they don't have that, they should have. I mean, they could have easily won the Super Bowl. Josh Allen did not have to go through Patrick Mahomes. That whole team, I feel like, was still very complete. And personally, I mean, just after seeing where we have the Chiefs this season, if we continue to see how they're going to play this year and we leave them in those spots that we have them this year, I think Josh Allen can get through Patrick Mahomes this season, and the Bills can go and actually win it all this year. I think the biggest challenge for me is really going to be your guys' number 1 picks, either the Seahawks or Rams. That's going to probably be the one thing that stands in the Bills' way this season, other than potentially the Chiefs. If Josh Allen still just struggles against the Chiefs because it's Patrick Mahomes. So if it's Patrick Mahomes, I mean, what can you say?
I'm Patrick Mahomes, and I throw the ball real good.
Sure does.
Yep.
Where's that ball real good?
Yeah, I mean, so overall, I mean, unless you guys have any
final
thoughts there on
thoughts?
the top
Yeah.
5 there, I think the top 5 here is a pretty solid list.
Yeah, I mean, I have no arguments. I think the top 5, like again, all those teams have very reasonable arguments to be there. And again, we're doing this before preseason starts, before training camp gets fully underway. Things could change. Obviously, when we get into our division by division previews, that's when we'll start deep diving into the schedules and deep diving into those teams and giving our thoughts. Again, power rankings change all the time. Predictions often wrong. Will we put clown noses on our face and eggs on our face if we're wrong? Absolutely, because we're gentlemen of honor. We will be wrong about a lot of things.
You absolutely could. You really never know.
True.
Well, brings us again to a close here for another episode of From the Couch podcast. Of course, we have another couch to rank today, fellas. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Interesting. Well, I would start out with, I think those two circular pillows on the ends are very comfortable. This is like a good sleeping couch.
Good sleeping
Is that
couch.
leather?
It looks, it might be really hot though.
Well, I mean,
Bro,
how's
if it's
it?
like what the weather is right now in Illinois, I'm not sleeping on that. I
I
am
mean-
like melting in that.
I mean, I don't know if it's really going to necessarily be completely hot. It's it's indoors. Why would a couch be getting really hot if it's inside, right?
Well, your body heat, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's not gonna be that bad. I don't think.
if you're like
personally.
an oven, dude, you're gonna cook on that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I personally think it would be okay. It looks comfortable too. I mean, I don't know what you guys think
Def-
about that.
Like, this is a couch where I would not sleep on the cushions directly. I would put like a sheet on it or something if I was going to sleep
Like
on
a,
it.
like
Yeah.
a blanket or something.
Yeah, or like a blanket. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, personally, overall, I mean, I think I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I could live with that. I could do like a 7, like a 7.3 here.
I'll give it a 5. I think it's decent.
Yeah.
Not too crazy.
Too bad. I like
Fair
the
enough,
little
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's supposed to be like little pillows that you lay on, if those are removable. If you look on the sides of the couch there where the
Those
where
are
the
definitely
armrests are?
removable, 100%.
look like I don't know if maybe or maybe not they'd be comfortable. I'm not too sure. But looks like it gives you an option there and maybe an additional armrest. So looks pretty comfy to me. But anyway, yeah. Before we go, Ian, I wanted to get a quick update, with your guys' softball team this season. How's your guys' season been going?
I appreciate you asking for one. It hasn't been great, but hasn't been terrible. We've kind of fixed some things up here in the past couple weeks and put a couple wins on the board, which is nice. I don't know our exact record off the top of my head. We might be like 4-12, maybe. But we're figuring things out, which is nice, and yeah, so not been too bad. Just having fun. That's what's important right now.
That's good. I
So-
mean, you guys, I think how many wins do you guys have on the season right now?
Yeah, so I was saying I think we're like 4-12.
It's like 4 and
If
12.
I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
I don't know. I don't know if you know the history of it, but do you remember what your guys' best season was? Or is this
our
currently your best season?
Best season was last year. We went 500. So, which is I think is 12-12 in our league, if I'm not
Really?
mistaken. Yeah. So,
Wow, that's pretty good. And I mean,
Yep.
Well, and you guys have a couple weeks left of your season too, and then you guys go on to do a tournament, I believe, right?
Yeah, just a city tournament, and then we have Nazarene Nationals at the end of August, early September.
Yeah.
So-
So people want to know, Nazarene Nationals is just a whole group of softball players from across the country that come together in Cincinnati, and they spend a whole weekend there to play some softball. Some
Well,
teams will be
It's a lot more
well.
well ran than just like
It
it's
is.
just some teams
Yeah,
getting together.
like,
It is a
this is-
national tournament.
This
it
is
known, it-
pretty serious. These guys, this is real serious softball that goes down in Cincinnati. So me and Aiden have been going there for several years since we've been growing up as kids, as our dad played, and of course him and our brother Ethan play on that team now. So it's always an incredible time every year to go there. support our team, and honestly just have fun with family and friends throughout that whole weekend. So it'll be very exciting this year.
Yes, it will.
But with that, I mean, do you guys have any final closing thoughts? Any score predictions for the World Cup coming with the World Cup final?
3-1 Argentina.
I'm going to
3-1?
say 2-1 Argentina.
2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. Both of them are scored by Messi, and they come at the end of the game.
I don't hate it.
Either
don't hate that.
Either he scores it.
Absolute cinema.
Literally absolute cinema. Either he scores it or he has the assist. After and watching his assist last game was it was cinema in itself. So, but if he puts up both of those and it's coming towards that end of the game, absolute cinema.
I certainly don't hate that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys again for listening us for another episode of From the Couch. Please check out our new display there. It's got all our social media. So if you have trouble trying to find us on social media, it's right here. You cannot miss it. And in case you forgot our name, it's right up here. We are called From the Couch. So please, oh, please check us out on social media. We have a lot of fun content up there. A lot of interesting videos, especially when it comes to some of this controversy. So always be on the lookout for some controversial social media posts and be on the lookout for it this week. At this point, when you guys are seeing this video, we will have live streamed some of the World Cup final. So if you guys had the chance to check that out, we definitely appreciate that. And we're going to try and do some of that live content, as the football season starts to spur up a little bit. And if you guys like that type of content, like that form of content, please let us know in the comments. And if you want us to talk about some of your favorite NFL teams or any sports takes you have, we'd love to talk about it in our live streams or on our show. So please leave those comments. We'd love to be able to talk some more with you guys in the comments about that. So with all that said, thank you again, Peter, Aiden, being here for another show. Go enjoy that World Cup final, and we'll see you guys here for another episode next week. So you guys go enjoy those sports, and we will see you guys all later. So have a great evening and take care. We will see you soon.
Go!